And as you come to your seat, just take a few exhalations through the mouth. And whether your eyes are open or closed, starting to sense your breath. Starting to fold inward. It takes a lot of concentration and effort to not be distracted by the external experience. But the breath is a wonderful tool to navigate into stillness. You can always appreciate the quote of one great yogi that the mind is the hardest position to adjust. And it's the hardest asana to adjust. The mind is bouncing around, and we can slow it down. Take time, find that wonderful breath, and call it inward. Inward into focus, into stillness, into sensing and feeling and experience the moment as it is. So I thank you for arriving and knowing the great importance of that wonderful breath, that spacious breath. When you are ready, just allow your chin to drop. And feel the heaviness of the skull. And then draw the head up and back. And take the head over to the left shoulder and do just a half circle. So rolling down, make your way over to the right shoulder. And down, making your way back to the left shoulder. And move your breath slowly and notice any sensations as you move your head from side to side. Notice the stretch of the neck and the shoulders, any curvature or roundedness to the spine that's introduced. Start to feel those exhalations through the mouth, bringing a great release to the neck and shoulders. Next time that your head rests to the left shoulder, just leave it there and see if you can release your right hand down. Continuing with those exhalations through the mouth, feeling that heaviness and stretch along the right side. You might take time to move your fingers and see if that changes the stretch in any way. And then carefully releasing the head back down, roll your head to your right shoulder. And release your left arm to the side. Still exhaling through the mouth, releasing any tension along the left side, and inviting any movement to the fingers or the hand that feel good. But also notice the connection between your left shoulder and your right shoulder. You can feel the focus and the stretch along the left side of the neck down the arm. But maybe there's an opportunity to release your right shoulder too. And then take your head back down. And bring your head back to center. And just turn your head from side to side. And then this time as your head comes back, reach your right arm up, placing your right hand in the center of your shoulder blades. And use the left hand to clasp the elbow. Keeping the head elevated, give a gentle stretch to that right side body. And start to expand your lungs more fully. Feel the lungs moving outward into the side body. And keeping the right palm in the center of the shoulders, just release your left hand over to the side and maybe lift your gaze towards the sky. And feel that deep stretch through the interior of your right lung, the interior of the right side rib cage, the interior of the right hip. And carefully close the right side body by drawing the elbow towards the earth. And then just invite the right elbow back up. Try that 2 more times, rounding, closing that right elbow towards the left side. And then inhale back up. And just once more, elbow reaching towards the left side. And as you rise back up, reach your right hand to the sky and bring yourself back to center. Carefully inhale, arms reach up. Placing the left hand in the center of the shoulder blades as you clasp your elbow. Feeling that tug on the left side body. And then bring that focus again into the lungs. Expanding the rib cage outward. And carefully release your right hand down. And turn your gaze up towards the left side. Just feeling that stretch along the left side body. Reaching from the interior of your left hip. The inside of the rib cage. That beautiful rise and fall of the left lung. And the sound of your breath. And then carefully close your left elbow, reaching the left elbow towards the right side. And inhale, open that back up. Use your breath, closing again, elbow towards the earth. And inhale up. Once again. And biggest breath you can take. Reaching to the sky with your left hand, and then bringing yourself back to center. Inhale both arms forward and up, and bring both arms out to the sides. Let's do that again. Inhale, reaching forward and up, and exhale out. Take a gentle twist to the right side of the body. Maybe close your eyes and feel the roof of the mouth relax and the jaw relax, softening the bottom of your abdomen. Just noticing the twist of the spine. And then carefully twisting to your left side. Resting your awareness on the inside, beneath the skin, inside. And then take your time and make your way back to center. Step your feet to the earth. And take a gentle forward fold. Just noticing the curvature of the spine. Without pushing or forcing, release your head. Maybe a few exhalations through the mouth. Very consciously relaxing the bottom of your belly. And feel the broadening of your shoulder blades again. And then carefully rising up, reach your hands up overhead. Making circles with your wrists, begin to take your arms out to the sides and slowly bring them down. And then changing the direction of that movement, rising the arms back up. And spread your fingers wide and take your hands out again. Reaching forward, reaching up. Spreading the fingers, taking the hands out wide. Just one more time, forward, up. And exhale out. And then just use your hands to sit behind your bolster or your blanket, whatever you have there. And make your way to your back. And once you come down to your back, reach with your arms and reach with your legs. Start to rotate your ankles around in circles, moving your toes. And then releasing the arms to the sides with your palms facing up. Let's take a moment to return back to that wonderful breath without changing it in any way. Feel the earth beneath you. Tracing a line across your shoulders, fully releasing the arms in the center of your palms. And from the top of the head, down the back of the neck, release along your spine. And very consciously relax the muscles that align the spine. And feel the heaviness of your rib cage. And the heaviness of your hips. Allowing that line of energy to release the legs. Again, from the very top of your head, down the back of the neck, along your spine, releasing out to the center of your palms, releasing all the way down to the bottom of your feet. Just find yourself very still, releasing breath, releasing body, focused on the internal space. The simple aliveness of your being and that expansive breath. And then in the slowest way, begin to move your head from side to side. And as you bring your head back to center, reach with your arms in length again. And interlace your fingers behind your skull. Take a moment to curl your chin up and squeeze your elbows. Just breathing there. Still finding the breath. See if you can consciously relax your belly. And then release your head back down and take your arms back out to the sides. Releasing across the shoulders. And then invite a nice full body stretch. And pull both knees in. You can take your knees wide and rock from side to side using the hands on the knees. Taking time to roll all the way to the outer edges of your hips. Fully across the surface of your sacrum. Notice the muscles again along the spine and the muscles that support the sides. Right, shifting all the way over, keeping everything relaxed. And at some point, settle right in the middle, keeping the knees wide, but pulling the knees towards your belly. Make sure that your low back is rooted to the earth. Coming back to the exhalations through the mouth. Feel that crease along the hip. Bring your breath down to the bottom of your belly. Let the legs be heavy here. So only the effort that's required. And maybe you feel the knees broaden, moving away from each other. And then carefully use your hands and make circles with your knees. Maybe the knees are moving out and then in. Maybe they're moving in and then out. Maybe they're moving independently of each other, in opposite direction of each other. Just exploring range of motion. Massaging the interior of the hip. Feeling that heaviness across the back body. Try to keep the neck relaxed, the back of your skull relaxed. And then at some point, join your knees. You might interlace your fingers over the top of your knees. Relax the bottom of your feet. Still heavy along your spine. Using the appropriate effort. Just breathing in and out. And then carefully release your left leg out. Continue to draw the right knee in towards your belly. And you might use your hands to make really small, deep circles. So working with that compression. And you can change the direction of that movement, but again, very small circles. And then releasing the right leg, reach with your arms and stretch along your spine. And then draw the left knee in, giving the left knee a squeeze. Just exploring compression first, no movement. And then very slowly, small circles, massaging the interior of your left hip. And exploring movements in the opposite direction, but still small, very slowly. And then releasing the left leg out, reaching with both arms. And bring your knees back in. This time, pull the knees wide. Place your hands on your knees. And squeeze as tightly as you can. And then deciding whether you're doing one or both. Taking either peace sign fingers to your big toes as you elevate your feet to the sky, or clasping the outer edge of your foot as you elevate your feet to the sky. And if you need to just do one at first, that's okay. Whichever you've chosen, try and relax along your spine. Let your heels be wide. So even if you're doing one, draw your heel towards the outside of the body. And pull your knees towards the sides of the body. And try and invite that breath to the bottom of your belly. Still releasing along the spine. Releasing the back of your skull. Only the effort that's needed. And don't worry, I'll cue you to change. So if you're doing one, just stay with that one side still. Get to know the sensation that's there, but also recognize the slow shift and change. Giving yourself permission to soften. And allow the stretch to deepen by that softening. And if you're doing just one side, release that foot and try the other side. Continue to check in and notice what you can unclench. Where can you bring less effort? Just a few moments longer. And then release your feet. One or both. Stretch your legs out, stretch your arms out. Take a nice full body stretch. Notice your spine, any sensations along your spine. And then release your arms to the sides. And carefully pull your knees back in, rocking the knees to the right side of the body. And maybe walk your shoulder blades over. Just pausing there. Still heavy across the shoulders. Releasing the roof of the mouth and the back of your throat and your tongue and your jaw and the very center of your throat. Releasing the eyes and the eyebrows and any expression on the face. Releasing everything inside the torso. So soften your lungs. Just gentle breaths, relaxing your diaphragm. And then drawing in a nice deep breath. Rolling over, make your way to your left side. And dropping the knees, perhaps walking the shoulders. And a very conscious relaxation. So slowly moving through the body, releasing. Breath by breath. And inhale, call yourself back to center. And then just freely rocking from side to side. So your arms can stay out. And this time, step your feet to whatever surface is there. Maybe it's the earth, maybe it's a bolster, maybe it's a blanket. And just let your knees sway from side to side. Dropping the knees deeply inward and outward. And the next time you make your way back to center, cross the left knee over the right. And let your knees drop to the right side. And then inhale back to center, keep the crossing, and let your knees drop to the left side. And see if you can pause there for about 7 breaths. And then carefully bring it back. And as you uncross, just rock side to side. Taking time to come back to center, cross your right knee over your left. And drop the knees to the left side. Nice inhale back to center. Keep the right knee over the left, releasing to the right side. And we'll pause a little bit longer this time. Allowing as much as you can. Feel that twist of the sacrum, the stacking of your hips, and the stretch of the interior of your left hip. Maybe along the inner lining of the left leg. Good. Exhale through your mouth. Just heavy. And then carefully inhale, bring yourself back. Uncross the feet and rock from side to side. And then pull your knees back in towards your belly. Let the knees be closer together. And find a full body stretch, everything out. And as you exhale, press the small of your back down. Inhale, feel the curvature of your spine. Exhale, rooting along the spine. Again, breathing, stretching. Exhale, rooting to the earth. And this time, as you let your arms rest out, you can choose either butterfly pose, bottom of your feet together and knees out, or cross your legs in Sukhasana, easy pose, and let your knees fall out. And if you're doing crossed legs, easy pose, I'll cue you to change the crossing in just a few moments. If you're doing butterfly, focus on one side of your body first. Just welcoming a great heaviness along that side. And again, beneath your skin. Right, softening from the inside out. But drifting towards the earth. And instead of thinking of releasing your breath outward, think of every time you exhale, you're sinking deeper inward. Now listen, carefully focusing on the opposite side of the body. If you have chosen easy pose, crossed ankles or shins, change the crossing. And very consciously come back to your breath. Every exhalation sinking deeper inward. Inward folding of your breath. Inviting a great release. And knowing and understanding the rootedness of being. Right? The rootedness of being in this moment, connected to your body and your breath. The rootedness of being in comfort with yourself, in company with yourself. Starting to slowly take a nice inhalation and full exhalation. Again, slowly but deeply enter your breath. And exhale. This time reaching with your arms. Exhale, rooting along your spine. Separate your toes and carefully bring your knees back. As you step your feet to the earth, interlace your fingers, place them behind your head, and rock your knees from side to side. And this time, cross your ankles and elevate your knees. And curl up again. As you elevate your head, squeeze your elbows. And try and pause there for 5 breaths. Releasing your head back to the earth. Releasing your arms back to the sides. Step your feet back to the earth. And rock again. And we'll take another full body stretch, arms and legs reaching. And then make your way to whichever side seems suitable. See if you can help yourself up. Any props that you might have on your mat, set them off to the side. Make your way to Child's Pose, Balasana. Take your knees wide, resting to the forearms or the forehead, maybe extending the arms. Find your breath. And then beginning to rise up, make your way to tabletop. You can bring your knees closer together. And just do a few rounds of cat-cow, moving your spine. And moving your breath. And then once you make your way to a flat back, see if you can come down to your forearms. Keeping your forearms planted, draw your hips back. You might stretch your arms out for half downward facing dog. Feel the heaviness of your torso. Maybe move your hips a little bit from side to side. And carefully make your way back to tabletop. Round your spine, staying there. And then a nice flat back, sink heavy into your shoulders. And rise out of your shoulders. Again, heavy into the shoulder sockets. And lifting up out of the shoulder sockets. Try one more time. Exhale, sinking heavy. And rising up. From here, make your way to your belly. Stack your elbows underneath your shoulders. You can place your palms down and sway your spine from side to side. Move your head. Feel that stretch from the hip outward. And then take time to walk your feet a little bit wider. Bending the knees, bringing the bottom of your feet together. You might take your knees a little bit wider. Let your toes rest back. If it's comfortable, make a pillow with your hands and rest your forehead. So knees are wide, feet are traveling back, but feet are touching each other. Just allowing the opening of the hips. And then carefully come back to your forearms. Separate your feet from each other and sway your heels from side to side. And you could gaze to the side that your heels will reach to, and gaze to the other side as the heels sway. And then releasing the toes back, tuck your toes, readjust your knees down. Maybe walk your feet about hip-width distance this time. Reaching from your toes, press into your palms, and lift your rib cage. You could micro bend your elbows here. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Think about moving forward from your mid-back. And then carefully release yourself down. Relax your forehead, relax your belly. Walking the hands back to the rib cage, press yourself up. Stretching back for child's pose. And then rolling to upward facing dog. Back to the earth. Up and back for child's pose. Round in spine, upward facing dog. And back to the earth. Do that one more time, upward facing dog. Back for child's pose. That round in spine. upward facing dog. Lowering to the earth. And this time as you help yourself up, bring your knees to the right side, having a seat to the left of your heels, and then rotate your rib cage to your left side. Think about the right side rib cage moving towards the left. You can move your head from side to side or forward and back. And then using your hands, rise up to a seat. Twist yourself to your right side. And then rotating back to the knees, hands and knees. And do just a few rounds of cat-cow again. And when you're ready, bring your knees to the left side. Have a seat to the right of your heels. Rotate your rib cage to the right, coming down to your forearms. Think about the left side rib cage moving towards the right side of the body. And any movement of the head or neck that feels good. And carefully use your hands and push yourself up to seated. Rotate to the left side. Making your way back to hands and knees. Taking cat-cow again. Round your spine and sink your belly. And maybe take your knees a little bit wider. Walk your hands further forward. And move around in a full circle. Shifting your weight between all four corners of the body. And any movement that feels good with the head and neck again. You can change the direction of those circles. You might bring that back to forward and back movement. And then carefully make your way to your back without any props. Let's take a nice full body stretch. Walking your legs over to the right corner of your mat. If you would like, cross your right ankle over your left ankle. Move your shoulders over to the right corner of your mat. And release your arms either out, maybe reaching with the left arm. Feel the curvature of the left side of the body. Try and keep your hips level, so left and right hip are reaching towards the earth. And as you're breathing, move from the interior of that left hip. Move from the interior of the left side rib cage. And from the deeper layers of your left lung. And if you're reaching with the arm from inside the shoulder, inside the right shoulder, inside the left shoulder. And if the arms are reaching, simply release your arms back out to a T. Move your head and shoulders back to center. Uncross your right ankle. Take your left ankle to the left side. Just pause for a moment, welcoming that heaviness to the body. Fully releasing the left side. And then carefully walk your feet back to center. Take a full body stretch. And when you are ready, carefully release your arms out to the sides. Walk your feet over to the left corner of your mat. As you walk your feet to the left corner, bring your shoulders and your head to the left corner. Crossing the left ankle over the right, maybe. And deciding if you want to reach with one or both of your arms. Again, look for the levelness of your hips, stretching from the interior of your right hip, the interior of your right side rib cage, expanding the deeper layers of your right lung, moving from the center of the shoulder, finding your breath. And when you are ready, release your arms. Carefully bring your head and shoulders back. Uncross your left ankle. Moving the right leg to the right side. Just pause. Release your body. And then step your feet to the earth and rock at the knees from side to side. And you might draw the knees towards the belly as you rock from side to side. You're more than welcome to use your hands. Coming back to a nice squeeze. Use the arms to squeeze the knees in. Try and relax along your spine. Come back to the exhalation solely through the mouth. And then release your feet back to the earth. Just reach with your arms and feel curvature of your spine. And then come back to that rootedness along your spine. So rocking your pelvis a little bit. Feeling that rise and fall of your sternum and your collarbone. Massaging into your shoulder blades. And as you root into your back, cross your right knee over your left. Pull your knees in towards your belly. You might clasp your knees or your ankles or your shins. Just taking 5 breaths here. And then carefully change the crossing of your knees and clasp your knees or your ankles or your shins. And release. Take your final full body stretch. And then choosing what final rest looks like for you. You might stay fully on your back with your legs wider than your hips and your arms out. You might decide to support the back of your knees or along the spine. Or any additional layers that you wish to add to your body to keep yourself warm. And once you arrive, return back to that idea of inward folding. So the exhalations draw you deeper inward. The exhalations allow you to focus on the rootedness of being, feeling the support of the earth beneath you, of the life energy, the pranic energy, and earth energy, Maya. And know the gift that you are. That there is a beautiful feminine essence within you. But also a wonderful strength. Thanking yourself for the nurture you brought your being this evening. Very slowly begin to move through the body, beginning with the skull, the fingers and the toes. Inviting any other stretches that might feel good, reaching with the arms or the legs. And drawing the knees in, maybe rocking or just compressing. And then rolling to a side of the body that's suitable for you. Carefully helping yourself up to some kind of seat. And in the arrival, bring your hands together before your heart. Again, thank yourself for the kindness and care that you brought your being. For honoring the divine within. And I thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.